Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana video. Today I want to talk about a really cool promo that was just announced. We had some details on it previously, but an image actually surfaced, and so I want to take a look at that. It seems really good for my players out there, but I've never claimed to be the best player of Disney Lorcana, so I want to get your guys' thoughts on if this card is actually broken, because it seems insanely good to me. And then we'll get into the first chapter, the reprint or not reprint, but the lottery that happened, and talking about kind of like the investing side of Disney Lorcana, and what that looks like right now. So getting into the promo first, it says new Goofy promo from Gen Con. He's from set 10, Whispers in the Well. He's a 5-cost uninkable 3/5 titled Emerald Champion. He quests for 2, and his abilities are: whenever one of your other Emerald characters is challenged and banished, banish the challenging character, and then provide cover. Your other Emerald characters gain ward. Opponents cannot choose them except to challenge. This card, to me, seems incredibly overpowered for Emerald. Glad it doesn't exist in a world where, Diablo might exist, for example. Obviously, somewhere like Infinity Construct, that would be irrelevant. But for Core Constructed, giving every other Emerald card in your deck ward, that seems really good, in combination with the fact that when they are challenged, the character that challenged them is banished. Like that, obviously Goofy himself isn't a ward, but if you could find a way to give Goofy a ward as well, like, I don't know. There's a lot going for it here. This card seems incredibly overpowered. I do love the idea that it is a promo as well. I think they're, hopefully, my hope is that they continue to have a better knowledge, and you don't necessarily need all of your promos to be playable characters, but I want some of the promos to be good cards in the game, right? Something like this Jafar that we just got for set champs for Reign of Jafar, could definitely see that card being playable. It's an amazing art, like 10 out of 10, as well as looking forward into Fabled set championships, the a Maleficent Monstrous Dragon, amazing card, awesome art, like 10 out of 10, love it. When we look back at some of the other set champs, like Mirabelle, for example, whatever, like, art's great, I love it, $30 card, I'll buy them all day. But with that being said, you don't really see those cards being used in many decks right now, and so the fact that maybe this card, obviously it's not a set champ promo, but it's just a promo that should, in theory, at least to me, will have relevancy in the game. It's just good for the card in general. This liquidity constantly being exchanged with buying cards and selling cards and value, it brings a lot of fun to the game. It brings a lot of speculators to the game, and ultimately that just, the more money coming in and out of the game, I think is just better for the overall market. So, with that being said, moving over to the first chapter side of things. So, I want to kind of give a background of the first chapter and where we're at now. So, the first chapter, when it originally came out, it was Scalp to the Moon. For those of us that were here, it was like a $400 to $500 booster box, kind of right out of the gate after it initially got scalped. Lorcana and Ravensburger realized that, hey, we did not print near enough of this. They did a whole nother print run, which dropped the prices to about $200 or so for a brief period of time. Even a little bit below that for a couple weeks. That was then bought up, and it went back up to about $300. We then got a full another reprint of, like, I guess it wasn't even, I don't know, that was more of like a restock the first go round, and then it had a massive reprint where it dropped the price from like $300 to $350 back down to $220. It took about 9 months to 12 months for it to get back up to about a $400 booster box, give or take. And then they ran this lottery where they, but just a lottery or auctioned off, or, I don't know, I guess ran a lottery for a bunch of these boxes to be given out. I know some people got it, some people didn't get it. I didn't get it. One of my close friends did. And I know a lot of you guys did and didn't as well, right? It seems like a pretty mixed pool, much more so than the D23 lottery. It's like, I just didn't get that, and it felt like everyone else did, right? And so that was like, the D23 one, there was just a lot for those gift bundles that were given out. So now we're in, present day, first chapter, Disney Lorcana, and the first chapter's in a rough spot as it relates to price. Cheapest on the market for an unverified is about $240, which still is not, not the worst price, to be completely honest. But $240 for a booster box right now. Lowest on the market, if you go lowest verified, you're staring at $243, so right in line with where the other prices are as well. And you can see that the volume definitely has picked up, but it's really not a ton. There's 20 sales for this 3-day chunk, 17 sales, 18 sales, and then 11 sales. So not a ton of boxes that are getting bought and sold every day. And I think that really right now, if you believe in the long-term future of Lorcana still after, the significant missteps that have happened lately, I think this is going to be your best chance to buy. And I need some crowdsourcing. I need to crowdsource some information here. I can't find the post, but I'm like 99% certain that I saw on one of the lottery information, flyers, if you will, that they said that this product will not be available again. Can anyone confirm that? Basically saying hey, we're never going to reprint this product again. If you want the first chapter, this is your last chance to get it. If anyone can confirm that, that would be great, because I don't want to speak out of turn, but I'm 99% sure I saw it. And actually it'd be even better if someone can send me that flyer on Discord. I would greatly appreciate it, because in an idea where Lorcana continues, they get through this funk that they're in. We get to, late season 2, season 3, things ramp back up. We're feeling really good about Lorcana. You're going to be very, very mad if you do not buy a first chapter booster box at $243. And so I think that it's a great point to enter if anyone is looking to get into the product. But I think they definitely have, in terms of the speculators, the investors, etc., they've done significant damage just constantly re-releasing this product. I do want to, keep in mind that, look, these are not, it's not meant to be a 401k. It's not meant to be an investment vehicle. I'm sure there is value attributed to these boxes, and yes, it's a deflationary asset, and all of that holds true, right? And I don't think you're a bad person if you have a sealed box, I'll leave all the morality police and everything. I don't have time for that. You assess whatever, morality to keeping a sealed booster box of cards, however you want. I could care less. With that being said, the fact that they've re-released this set over and over again, it's done significant damage. But if you think about it in the grand scheme, this product's only been out for 18 months, right? And if you compare that to other trading card games, something like Pokemon, Evolving Skies came out in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, and it was still in stores, not necessarily booster boxes, but you could still get packs in stores last year in 2024. So we're talking a 3 to 4 year cycle where you can still see Pokemon packs at retail. And so I think that that just, look, it hasn't been that long, and I know it's a new trading card game, and you want your 401k to be a Pokemon box, and it's going to the moon, and that just hasn't happened here yet. And so I would say if you are purely a speculator, if you're still here, I would definitely go play in a different pool. This pool is very much, it's going to be more of a long-term grind. They're going to have to turn some stuff around. It's this pool needs work. There's other pools like Pokemon where you can camp out at GameStop and make double your money, whatever. I personally don't think that's healthy for a card game, but Pokemon has evolved. It's more of a collector base, more so than a player base, right? The cards are extremely cheap unless you get, your chases, and even then when you calculate that with the booster boxes, it's a whole thing, whatever. That's not happening in Disney Lorcana. And so I think that if you do believe in the future of Disney Lorcana, and I have some videos coming out later here down the road, that I'm going to talk about the high end of Disney Lorcana and how you can really see that the future is still there when you look at the fundamentals and some of the cards that, if you follow my method of older, mentor, scarcer, irrelevant, those cards are going to be a lot more protected when we go through these peaks and valleys of sentiment. But right now, the first chapter booster box at $243, I think is a great time to buy, in my opinion, if you do still think of Disney Lorcana as a sustainable, long-term trading card game. At that, with that being said, look, if sentiment's bad right now, and I'm not here to, I always am very transparent. While I know that I still believe in the team to deliver, and I think they still have all the recipe for success that they need. They've mismanaged several things here as of late, and we really, really need some big wins. We don't need them. It would just be nice to have, right? I want some good news. I'm very excited for Gen Con, and hearing what cards are going to be reprinted. They have some bundles that are going to be there, Gen Con here in 10 days or so should be awesome. into Fabled. Awesome. Like, I'm very, very excited for Fabled. There's going to be a ton of really good artworks there. But in terms of like Disney Lorcana as an investment vehicle, I just think there's a lot better places to spend your time and money if you are looking for like short-term flips and things like that. I would really recommend keeping it within the wheelhouse that we talk about in terms of older, mentor, scarce, or relevant. Focus on your promos. Focus on your Elsa Snow Queens, your D23 promos, or your Set Champs promos. Like, I was looking at some auctions here recently. There was a PSA 10 Scar, the Set Champs, was that Set 6 promo that sold for like $350 here just over the last couple of days in a PSA 10. And it's a great reminder that like these cards, I think there's 70 PSA 10s of those in existence, but these cards that do have that increased rarity of being a promo, on top of that, the conditional rarity of getting a PSA 10, which that card does grade very poorly, like a lot of our promos do in Disney Lorcana. Like, there's a lot of opportunity in cards like that, right? That card probably costs $30 raw, sold it for $350 in a PSA 10. There's a lot of opportunities like that in Disney Lorcana, but you really, really need to stick to the fundamentals of getting older cards that are not in sets, that don't come in booster packs, that are scarcer, they're promos, they're hard to acquire, whether that's going to a certain convention, going to a certain event, a certain set, etc., right? Getting those cards that do not come in booster packs. And ultimately, the cards that are older are going to typically do a little bit better. Like I said, like the D23, the original box set of 6 with the Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor that came outside of that. Like, these are the things that are going to be protected from Ravensburger printing more and more of these sets as we get farther and farther down the road. Hopefully this is the last time they print the first chapter. Like, I think they've done more than their job of like, and I've been an advocate of these cards have to be affordable, guys. They're trying to build a player base. I think they've done that. First chapter is being rotated out. Once we're talking about rotations, like, there should be no more of this on the market, in my opinion. Those cards are done. The reason for stating that they need to be reprinted was so players can get into the game. Well, 90% of those cards are no longer relevant, and the 10% that are going to be reprinted and fabled. It's like, this should be it, right? In my opinion, in terms of any sort of reprints or anything like that. But I think they did more than their fair share. And so picking up a box right now where sentiment is bad, they're $243 a box. If you don't have one, I would say jump on this. But I also am someone who, despite all of the recent bad news, I think that the long-term trajectory of Disney Lorcana is still there. All of the fundamentals of the biggest IP in the world, which I've gotten like multiple comments here lately of like, you say that Lorcana is bigger media franchise than, or you say that Disney's a bigger media franchise than Pokemon, but it's not. I would love some proof. If anyone can provide proof. I had someone comment on a video. I'm not trying to single this person out. I've heard it a lot, and that's why I'm bringing it up. But like, Disney's not the biggest media IP, Pokemon is. I just was like, okay, so I went on ChatGPT. I said, what's the highest grossing media franchise in the world? I like literally took their comment, put it into ChatGPT, and it was Disney by like a long shot. And it's like, I don't know why people think Pokemon is so much more valuable than Disney. It's not. Even when you take out Star Wars, take out Marvel, etc., the other IPs that have games or that are included in other, even like CCGs, Lorcana is still like significantly bigger than Pokemon when you look at it at scale. That's not to belittle Pokemon, but it's to get back to my point. Still the biggest IP in the world. While Ravensburgers definitely have their struggles here as of late, they have delivered a fantastic product thus far in terms of the gameplay. The game is amazing. You need that to build on top of everything else. They've got amazing gameplay. They've proven that they can at least run a successful season and run a good tournament structure and schedule. So I'm hoping as we get into, like, look, I'm not giving them an excuse for season 2. I've said on record many times, I can't even fathom how this decision was made. But when you look forward to season 3, right, like, look, guys, time moves fast and time heals all wounds. As we get further and further away from this terrible news cycle, get closer and closer to Fabled, into some DLCs, into season 3 hype, like, there's a lot that they can do to kind of bring this cycle back around. And so picking up a first chapter booster box at $243, look, I don't know if it's going to keep going down. It very well could, but from my point of view, this is a fantastic time to buy. One of the best, in my opinion. Like, especially if we can get confirmation, and please, 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 if anyone has a screenshot of like them guaranteeing that it won't be reprinted again, please let me know, because that's just kind of like the cherry on top. Like I said, I'm this whole point is kind of based around that. But if I made that up, then you know I need to definitely rethink this recommendation in terms of buying a first chapter booster box. But to me, 243 for a first chapter box is right in the money of where I want to be. So that is pretty much it for today's video. I will say a couple things that have made me I don't know, and I can't remember if I mentioned this in another video, but I guess Riftbound like already has a judge program, and they already have like these qualifier circuits with points and things like that, and that does concern me a little bit. Just like not from like a doom and gloom like Lorcana is like dead or whatever, right? Like that's people that say like they just don't understand it. They are very short-sighted. They feel wrong. They feel slighted. Like I get that, but it's not going to kill the game. With that being said, Riftbound being ran by Riot, and it's a competitive IP in a sense, right? Obviously, League of Legends is nowhere near as big as something like Disney, but it's got in the fan base that plays TCGs. League of Legends is a big fan base, right? And so I think that it feels like they're set up for success. I mentioned that Riot, I've been a big fan of their products for a long time. They have a great product development team. They deliver at a very high level. And so the fact that they're already, you know, for their game that I don't even think is like fully released yet. I know they're going to be at Gen Con and they have a booth there. The fact that they've already got this judge program, which as far as I've been around, the competitive players have been clamoring for that. We still don't have it to my knowledge. But the fact that we don't have the judge program, the fact that we don't have like, and they did announce that third party vendors are going to be able to, tournament organizers are going to be able to get qualifications for the DLC circuit, which is nice. But it seems like Riftbound's already got that stuff worked out, and I'm just not surprised at all to see them, you know, delivering at a high level. So with that being said, that is it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll be back with another video soon.